Fantastic.
No, they'll take care of the whole ceremony. Sergeant Garvilla, he's a little too young to be sworn in. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Supervisor Quigley,
Here.
Councilwoman DeGroot, Councilwoman Hayner, Councilman Van Cleek.
Thank you very much and welcome to the Town of Ulster Town Board Workshop Meeting for Thursday, April 3rd, 2025. I'm going to start off with safety announcements. Please note the emergency exits in the back. They are indicated with red lights that say exit. And if there's an issue that requires an evacuation, please exit accordingly. Chief Berardi, who is going to conduct your ceremony? At this point in time, we will depart from the scheduled agenda to allow the police department the honor and the privilege of swearing in 5 new officers that were approved at the recent town board meeting. So please proceed.
Nobody wants to be first.
Okay, we should have Officer Campos. Not sure what order you're in, but Officer Jaden Campos, Officer Daniel Norman, Officer Alexander Roulon, Officer Robert Snyder, and Officer Cameron Leadus. Okay. So just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
solemnly swear
I support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
The Constitution of the State of New York.
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
And that I will faithfully discharge.
and I will faithfully discharge
The duties of full-time police officer
the duties of a full-time police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Please.
Do you want this, Chief?
I'm loud enough. Welcome, I appreciate everybody's time. Obviously, when we, hired them last month, they were effective April 1st. We had questions relative to obviously their hiring and everything like that. My staff and I thought it was a good idea. That is probably the largest group of full-time police officers we hired in my history in 23 years. So it is a momentous occasion. I want to thank the town supervisor and town board for their support in this, obviously all my staff. I know I saw all the finger pointing, remember my face type of thing. So be sure, you might get one warning, but after that, it's gonna be okay. Thank you.
Can we thank the rest of the police department?
Okay, we're going to resume our agenda here. Are there additions or changes to the agenda? I have one issue. It relates to the chief taking an out-of-town trip on April 10th. I hope he doesn't disappear because I'm going to need him to explain it.
He's right outside the door.
At this point, I will open the floor to public discussion on agenda items. Mr. Obajeski?
Good evening, Regis Obajeski, 170 Ledge Road, Town of Ulster. Just very briefly, on the second to the last piece of new business regarding the memorializing resolution to support the funding, the county funding for the EMS services. I just wanted to add to that publicly the gratitude that the citizens of this town have to Mr. Jason Kovacs, who, as our county representative, is the one who introduced this, fought this, and was very persistent with the county with regarding amounts. So thank you very much, Jason.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals here tonight who wish to speak on agenda items? Seeing none, we will move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, in the package are the minutes for the February 6th workshop, the February 20th town board meeting, and the March 6th workshop. May I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
I make a motion that it's accepted.
Do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Reevy, do you have any communications to report tonight? Thank you. Ms. Hayner for the abstract of claims. That's, you got 2 pages of abstract there.
I'm not gonna find it.
Here.
All right. Our first page is $7,143.08. to accounts payable.
For
and-
2024.
Yes, thank you, sorry, and then March 2025, it's $756,000 and $756,621.30.
May I have a motion to accept the abstract as presented? Any questions on the abstract? All those in favor?
Yep.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. It's just a couple of minutes before 7:10. I'm not going to start the public hearing before its expected time, but jumping down to new business. The first item under new business, a presentation and acceptance of the town clerk's monthly report for the month of February. Ms. Reevy, is there anything that you wish to call to the town board's attention in that report? May I have a motion to accept the town clerk's report for the month of February 2025?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Hayner, as chairman of the personnel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are personnel related items. You have the first item is the retirement. Water Department. So may I have a motion to accept with our gratitude the retirement of William Williams after 30 years in the Water Department? Do it.
And I would like to thank him for his service and time in the town of Ulster.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I really don't want to see him go, but
Yeah,
he's
same.
got to go. He wants to go. His time is up. Thank you. Motion passes. The next is the 6 seasonal employees for the Highway Department.
Yes, I have Edward Boyle. Ed will be hired as a town seasonal employee starting on 4/28/25 at the rate of $23 per hour. 40 hours a week, no benefits. His finish date will be determined. I have Ezra Capaldo. Ezra will be hired as a highway seasonal employee starting on 6/26/25 at the rate of $20 per hour. 40 hours a week, no benefits. His finish date will be determined. I then have Kelsey Kohler. Kelsey would be hired as a highway seasonal employee starting on 6/26/25 at the rate of $20 per hour, 40 hours a week, no benefits. Her finish date will be 8/30/25. I have James McGee. Jim will be hired as a highway seasonal employee starting on 5/5/25 for 40 hours a week. Rate of pay is $29.17 per hour, no benefits, finish date to be determined. I then have Riley Corrigan. Riley will be hired as a highway seasonal employee starting on 6/23/25 at the rate of $20 per hour, 40 hours a week, no benefits. His finish date will be 9/29/25. And then I have Ryan Killian. Ryan will be returning for a positional with summer beautification on 4/28/25 for 40 hours a week at the rate of $20 per hour, no benefits. His finish date is to be determined. I then have Mike Sills. Mike will be hired as a park attendant at Post Park starting on 4/15/25 at the rate of $20 per hour, no benefits. His finish date will be 10/31/25. Riley Dockenhausen. Riley will be hired for park maintenance as the parks starting on 3/24/25 at the rate of $20 per hour, no benefits. His finish date is also to be determined. I'm going to ruin this last name and I'm sorry already. Chris Castantino. Chris will be hired as a park attendant at Ryder Park starting on 4/15/25 at the rate of $20 per hour, no benefits. His finish date will be determined. And that's all I have for the.
May I have a motion to accept the hiring of 6 seasonal employees for the Highway Department and 3 seasonal employees for the Recreation Department? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We will stop for a second and proceed to the public hearing scheduled for 7:10. It is now about 7:13. I would like a motion to open the public hearing and give the engineer, Dennis Larios, a chance to brief the board on the purpose of the public hearing and the proposed improvements. We have a motion. I got a motion. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye, please.
Good evening, town board members. I'm Dennis. Just before we start, I'd like to acknowledge that you've received a petition for an extension of the Washington Avenue Sewer District. The property owners who have signed the petition are in attendance tonight. Peter Buffett from Wheatfields LLC, Novo, and his counsel Bethany Lampland, and also Morgan Coy is here, who is the principal in Monophonus Kingston LLC that owns two of the parcels and also is under contract to purchase the Kingston Hospital property. There they are, no three. A brief history of the Washington Avenue Sewer District. Most of you know this, but it was established in 2003 and includes 14 parcels along Washington Avenue and Powell Lane. There's a pump station at the end of Powell Lane that conveys the wastewater under the Esopus Creek to the city of Kingston system. There was an intermunicipal agreement between the town and the city of Kingston for that service for 75,000 gallons a day, of which 15,000 gallons a day have been pledged to Spring Lake Sewer District. The original bond was $1,255,000, and it is due to be retired in 2026. Current usage in that district is 25,000 gallons a day, plus or minus. Depends how busy the car wash is. You're all aware recently that that sewer service has been extended by agreement, not by a district extension, to the Quality Inn project to support a specific housing project being undertaken by RUPCO. That project is, the pipeline work is complete, waiting for delivery of a pump station. So that's an extension of that service area. This particular application and petition, and you should have a map plan and report, but if you need extra copies, I have them here tonight. Is for 4 parcels immediately north of Colonel Chandler Drive. Shaded parcels. The 2 Monophonus parcels, which are both now fully developed. The Kingston Hospital, former family practice center that became a clinic, that's under contract to sale to Monophonus, and 10.5 acre Wheatfields property, which is currently vacant. Though that would be the boundary of the extension of the district. The capital cost is estimated to be $441,665 to be funded by the petitioners. It would be installed, the main lines would be installed and dedicated to the town. A capacity charge of $48,000 would be paid by the petitioners to reimburse the parent district, which is the original Washington Avenue Sewer District, for 12,000 gallons per day of capacity that they paid for, that they purchased from the city of Kingston. The parcels would be added, if approved by the board, to the assessed value of the Washington Avenue Sewer District, which would add support to any future capital projects that district may need to undertake. As I mentioned earlier, the Wheatfields project is currently vacant. That parcel and the other 3 parcels are developed. If you have any questions of the property owners, they're here tonight. If you have any questions for me, I'm here right now.
there any questions from the board?
As I understand, with the addition of the anticipated sewage usage of this project and the hotel, the Bucko project, and those adjacent properties there, we are still well within our capacity.
Well, you're within it.
Yeah.
If that all happens, to the projected flow rates, I think the Quality Inn is projected to be up to 15,000 gallons a day. It'll probably be closer to 8 to 10. And then this project is estimated to be these 4 properties, 12,000 gallons a day. Then you have possibly the Camping World and auto dealerships there connecting. They're very low flow users. So combined, it could add about 30,000 gallons a day to the existing 25
Which is still within our.
within your limit.
Allow for, so I'm asking about the undeveloped properties there. If those should enhance the home.
Good question.
Can you guys hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we have evaluated, we've looked at the water bills for the current developed parcels, which combined are about under 2,000 gallons a day. And then, the Wheatfields project could generate 8 to 9,000 gallons a day. And then we left an allowance above that for 12,000 gallons a day maximum demand from those parcels.
Okay.
Good question.
Any additional questions? Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I will open the floor to comments from members of the public on the proposed annexation of these properties into the Washington Avenue Sewer District. Do we have any individuals here tonight who wish to comment on this proposed action? Seeing none, I ask for a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye. Mr. Kovacs, what would be, from the town's point of view, the next steps now that we have conducted our public hearing in accordance with the law on the completion of the annexation?
Certainly, we'll have a resolution and proposed order for the town board's consideration for your next meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Buffett and Mr. Coy, I want to thank you very much for your confidence in the town of Ulster in carrying this project out and your generous offer to carry the capital costs for the improvements, which are not only going to benefit your properties, but will in eventuality benefit other properties on the north side of Chandler Drive as we figure out a future for this section of town. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your generosity. Any additional comments by board members? Very good. Thank you very much. Moving back to our new business agenda, we are on the part-time clerk for the water sewer office.
Yes, we have Kate Saracino.
Circusano.
I never could say her last name. Kate will be coming in on a per diem basis to assist Michaela with billing, the levy process, and the year end. Her rate of pay will be $35 per hour, no benefit.
May I have a motion to accept the appointment of Ms. Circusano as a part-time clerk on a per diem basis?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have any discussion? Go ahead.
In addition to the letter of support that we received from the sewer superintendent, I did also contact John Rose, the superintendent of water, to confirm his support of Kate's offer to work part-time and continue to support and train in the water sewer clerk. John has the utmost respect and admiration for Kate and is thankful that she is willing to provide this service for the town. John fully supports this motion and is confident that Kate will continue to provide a valuable service to the department and to the town.
Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is an appointment by the supervisor under New York State law This is originally on the agenda as a motion for a part-time payroll clerk hire, but I felt it was more efficient to have Miss Margaret King continue in her role as the appointed secretary to the supervisor. And I'm informing the board of this appointment on a part-time basis effective April 8th, 2025. And the last item under personnel is in relation to the summer camp.
Yes, I have David Jackson. David Chuck is how we all really know him. Will be returning as the rec director for summer camp and also be in charge of the softball leagues. His rate of pay is $22 per hour, no benefits. He will be full-time for summer camp and allowed 4 hours per week for softball during the season.
I make that motion.
And I will second that.
Any discussion?
He is,
It's
if I
adult
could just add
softball.
that, David, as we know him, Chucky, is very enthused about doing this, taking this on with the new, I don't know, Frank, is the lighting working at the ball field yet? Now, like now? Okay, today, okay. I didn't know, you know, but it's, we're looking forward to, having a very active, which I'll talk about later, but Chucky's very excited, so thank you.
May I,
We have to vote on that?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, and congratulations, Mr. Jackson. Moving to the second page of our agenda tonight. First item is a motion to authorize the supervisor to open a new water sewer collection account with the Bank of Greene County. We will be bringing back for the town board's review a modification to the existing collection process for the water sewer accounts, and this account is necessary to implement that process. May I have a motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a motion to authorize Comptroller Sweeney to attend the New York State GFOA, that's the Government Finance Officers Association, annual meeting in Albany on April 2nd through the 4th. And you note that she's not here right now. She is attending continuing professional education. May I have a motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a motion to authorize Deputy Town Clerk Melanie Riker to attend the New York State Town Clerks Association Annual Conference in Syracuse, New York, April 27th through April 30th, 2025. This comes at the recommendation of Town Clerk Suzanne Reby. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a motion to authorize Councilwoman Hayner to attend the New York State Association of Towns Annual Town Finance and Personnel School in Saratoga, New York, April 21st through April 23rd, 2025. May I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, Chief, I have to apologize. You sent an email this afternoon advising the town board of a trip to White Plains. I left the email on my desk, but could you just explain to us the purposes of this trip to White Plains on April 10th?
Good evening. Commissioner, Department of Criminal Justice Services is hosting a Lower Hudson Valley workshop tour in White Plains on that day. It's involving just discussion with the local police executives relative to the public safety and criminal justice efforts across the state.
May I have a motion to authorize the chief to attend that meeting? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Merely a formality. When anyone travels outside the town of Ulster's boundaries on long trips like this, it is incumbent upon us to make sure that they have adequate delegation of responsibilities for these trips so that if should anything happen, whether it be a car incident or anything else of that nature, that there is adequate insurance coverage. That's all this is. It's not, in addition to authorizing the expenditures, it is for their protection and the town's protection. Thank you. The town has received a request from the city of Kingston to place a Welcome to Kingston sign on the northerly side of Washington Avenue by the bridge that crosses the Esopus Creek. We have had a proposed rendering of that circulated amongst the board members, and I asked the town to authorize the city of Kingston to place their sign on the north side in the town of Ulster with a full understanding that we have reciprocal rights to place a welcome to the town of Ulster sign in the city of Kingston on the opposite side of the creek.
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a motion to authorize the purchase of new signage for Robert Post Park in accordance with the proposal that's in the package. This is probably best left to Mr. Petromall to explain.
Yeah, I think that idea of having a sign that says Ryder Park this way, Post Park that way, and saying, oh, good idea. Yeah, good idea.
Very good, sir. May I have a motion to proceed with the new signs at Robert Post Park?
So, second,
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of February, Legislator Kovacs and I had a conversation shortly after the February Ulster County legislative session in which Legislator Kovacs was successful in sponsoring a resolution and having it passed authorizing Ulster County to apply for its own certificate of need, also known as a MuniCon, to operate ambulances within Ulster County. Our concept was to provide local communities additional financial support for the build out of their ambulance services. As you may recall, this town board authorized in the budget discussions in November and subsequently adopted a budget with $1 million in expense for an ambulance service on an annual basis. And the contract that was negotiated, which increased the level of service and the number of hours that the ambulances were operating within the town, resulted in a total cost of $1,275,000, a $275,000 difference, which I want to assure you will not impact 2025's budget because the contract started March 1st. But in full recognition of the fact that we have contributed, stepped up, and provided for additional ALS and BLS services within the town, as has many municipalities across the county, it was only appropriate for the legislature to step up and fund additional funding to the towns. This resolution is the same resolution that I believe 18 other towns have passed over the last 3 weeks. The only reason we are passing it here tonight is because we did not undertake a March 20th town board meeting. If we had, we would have considered this resolution at that time. So I want to thank Legislator Kovacs for his efforts in this matter, and I ask for a motion to accept the resolution as presented and authorize it to be presented to the parties as required within the resolution.
I'll
What?
second it.
Do I have any discussion? May we have a roll call vote on this one? Yes.
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 Thank you very much. The next item is a housekeeping item. The town of Ulster engages in a short-term investment program with a fund called New York Liquid Asset Fund. It is in a cooperative agreement under which school districts, counties, towns, villages invest their excess working capital in federal securities. New York LAF is in the process of merging with a competitor called New York Class that offers the exact same services. And the merger and the transfer of the town's account from New York LAF to New York Class requires an authorizing resolution, which is presented here tonight. May I have a motion to accept the resolution as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? May I have a roll call vote on this matter, please? Yes.
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 Thank you. We are now into old business. Ms. Reevy, will you describe for us the process that you went through on this item, which is the bidding for the water and sewer chemicals?
The water sewer bidding process is a yearly event that takes place in February in the town clerk's office, receiving bids for salt and chlorine for both departments. For water, there were two mailings received, one from Morton Salt. There was no bid included. US Salt was the only bid for $250 per ton. For chlorine for both departments, two bids were received from Slack and JCI. That's Jones Chemical. The lowest bid was from Slack Chemical for $474.32 per 150-pound cylinder.
May I have a motion to accept the low bids as read?
I'll make that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a motion to authorize the environmental sampling of 338 Glenary Boulevard through Paradigm Environmental Services of Latham, New York, in the amount not to exceed $2,260. I just want to advise this community that this action has been undertaken and been completed. The resulting cost is less than $2,000. Under New York State building regulations, demolitions require a asbestos remediation report to be done prior to the demolition so that we can appropriately dispose of the demolished waste, whether as contaminated waste or as MSW, municipal solid waste, or C&D. We have had several of the structures down there tested. The results came in an email this afternoon. They have been forwarded to the building department for evaluation. This is an attempt to drive down the demolition and disposal costs on these structures that were originally estimated to be between $250,000 and $300,000. So may I have a motion to authorize and accept the results?
I make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a resolution authorizing the award of contract TU 251. This is the long-awaited installation of new lighting in the parking lot and on the exterior of the senior center and town hall buildings. And it is in the amount of $87,000 and will be proposed to be funded out of the Building Capital Reserve account in the general fund. So with that, I'd like a motion to accept the resolution authorizing the award and the appropriation.
I'll second that.
May I have a roll call vote on the matter?
Supervisor Quigley,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGroot. Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Councilman Van Cleek.
Yes.
Resolution has been authorized. Thank you very much. The next item is in relation to the ambulance contract with Empress. As you may recall, the town of Ulster entered into a contract with Empress effective March 1st. It covers both the town of Ulster and the town of Kingston. The town of Kingston has an obligation to contribute towards the cost. That obligation is memorialized in this intermunicipal agreement that has been reviewed by the town attorney. And I ask for a motion to accept the resolution authorizing the supervisor to accept and sign this intermunicipal agreement.
I'll make that, I'll second it.
Any discussion? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Supervisor Quigley,
Yes?
Councilwoman DeGroot, Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Councilman Van Cleek.
Yes.
Thank you. The next item is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to execute a pilot agreement for the Gallus Hill Park Housing Development Fund Company and Gallus Hill Park LLC. In June of last year, Mr. Leibold approached the board and made a presentation at the meeting describing the rehabilitation efforts that they were going to attempt on a park that supports low to moderate income mobile home occupants in our town through a program with the Housing and Community Resources Agency of the state of New York. They have finished the project submissions to the planning board. Planning board has approved the project, and as a condition of moving forward with their New York State agreement, they require a pilot agreement, which has been reviewed by the town's attorneys, submitted to the board for review. And I ask for a motion to accept the resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign said pilot agreement.
So moved.
Any discussion? May I have a roll call vote?
Supervisor Quigley,
Yes?
Councilwoman DeGroot, Councilwoman Hayner,
Yes.
Councilman Van Cleek.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now on to the next to last item, Mr. Van Cleek, the summer camp.
After a lot of review and talking with some other municipalities, I am recommending to the board that we do have summer camp this summer with the hiring of David Chucky Jackson, who's very enthusiastic about this program. He has met the requirements. Our insurance company has reviewed our situation. They are pleased with the documentation that we did last year, and Chuck has that all ready to do again this year. So we're fine with that. What I'm proposing is what we're proposing is 7 weeks from July 7th through August 22nd. It would be from 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. Chuck already has his assistant from the past is interested in being his assistant director. So he will be confirming that, and hopefully be able to bring that person's name forward at the next meeting so we can approve that. And he believes that he has more than enough staff. The question had come up about the 12-to-1 versus the 8-to-1 staffing. That's 8 students to 1 staff member versus 12-to-1. We are authorized to be at 12-to-1. Chucky is concerned about the water situation, but didn't have a problem with it last year. So what we've been talking about is that for the budgeting reasons, we will calculate based on 8-to-1, but actually only staff at 12-to-1. So when a day comes when the number of children show up, he has a rotation where he sends people home. If he has a camp member that needs special attention, that is when he would go closer to the 8-to-1 ratio if that were to happen. And officially his only concern is the water, but his other concern has been discipline and some borderline special needs people that have signed up. So he feels comfortable. He understands the 12-to-1, but would like to, I think it's a good idea to budget it 8-to-1. So we'll just make sure we have enough. We are recommending the fee be for in-town residents $425 per child. For out-of-town residents would be $525 per child. We are attempting to establish a scholarship fund to support those we agree are in special need of assistance. That has been tried in the past, and we'd like to experiment if needed, if needed to do that. My calculations show that with 100 attendees, with the 8-to-1 ratio, that it would cost the town about $20,000 to run this program. That is, we have the expenses of all staff, less the revenue from the participants on a guesstimation of town, and I based it bit largely on in-town residents. But that is not untypical of what it's cost. It's cost the town more than that in the past. So we have the funds through the park, the fees that apartment buildings and such pay, so developers pay. So we have the money. If we chose not to have the camp, the city of Kingston is welcoming our residents, but will be charging extra money and is very tight on there. We originally thought they were going to have extra space. They don't have a lot of extra space. So with that, I'm recommending that we go ahead with the summer camp. Yeah.
Is this referring to the proximity of the camp location to the river?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be clear
I'm
because,
sorry, it wasn't the condition of the water in the bathrooms.
no, that's the other problem that's down
But
there.
that's gonna be they've already starting to deal with that now. They've already got the water turned on and they're working on making sure that it's good.
Okay.
No, what the concern is the proximity to the river.
Okay.
But that road is what makes a good barrier. The children know not to go on the road or past, so.
Do you have a recommended start date for enrollment?
Tomorrow. Monday would be preferable, as I understand.
Okay, so may I have a motion to authorize the advertisement of the summer camp program for the town of Ulster for the summer of 2025 and authorize the town clerk's office to conduct registration under the rates that have been set forth tonight?
I will make that motion, but I have to say that the camp has always been down there, so the water's never been an issue before.
No, the insurance, it was the insurance.
I
in New
know
York
the
State, they
insurance
were
is a
saying.
problem, which,
Yeah.
you know,
As
hopefully
it
we can
should
get
be,
past that, right?
as it should
Um,
be. Mhm.
I'm hoping that it'll be as successful as it has been in the past. I know the pandemic really ruined it for us. So I make the motion to, yes, move
Great.
on with camp.
And I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have a-
Opposed?
I have one question.
Yes. You want
Typically,
to start Tuesday?
typically we have accepted town residents first. Am I just accepting anyone at the rates that were agreed upon? Is it open enrollment from the start?
Well, I would ask, are we setting a max enrollment for this program?
Max will be 100. But what will happen is if Chuck has a problem with staffing, which he does not think he will, we would then have to notify you to cut off enrollment at some point. But right now, he says go for 100.
I would clarify it.
But the question was.
I would
is
clarify it to take
town
preference to the
residents.
town
Oh, yeah.
residents first.
Yes, as we have in the.
And then take a
Should
waiting
we
list.
make a waiting
Make a
list?
Waiting
So,
list for out of towners. Those ratios don't work though evenly, so should we do like 90? Like, cause 12-1 is 8.3 per counselor. You know what I mean?
Right,
So should we either do 110 or
whatever you
90?
recommend.
Do you know what I
just
mean?
pulled that number because it was one that was used in the past.
Okay, okay. Just asking.
Yeah, because the attendance is never normal. I mean.
No,
Right.
no, you're gonna get your biggest attendance the first day and then it's gonna dwindle down.
Suzanne, I also understand that as in past periods, early registration never knocked the socks off of anybody. It was always at the last 2 weeks that
Yep.
everybody. So if you could initiate the advertising preference to town residents, waiting lists, let's see how it develops over the next month. Then we can answer the fine tuning of this question as to whether it's 110 90, whatever it is,
Right,
8 to
just to
1,
make it
12.
even, right?
Let's see how the community responds to the
Do
program.
past attendees get preference? Do they get like an email or something? Do we keep reference of the good kids, not good kids, maybe
No.
the ones that attend it every year?
No, but
I didn't mean good kids.
some of
bad
them have
kids.
aged out or, but we've been receiving a lot of phone calls anticipating the decision of tonight's discussion, so.
Okay.
Okay.
If I could, under the same topic, but spread over to softball. Chuck and I have talked about this quite a bit and I discussed it with Rocky also, having been involved in the past. There's a couple things that we want to make clear that we're intending to do this year. And I want to reiterate, Chuck has a good vision for this. There was a group that requested to be able to use the field on Monday nights for a thing called competitive composite bat softball. Chuck is open to that, but we have some pretty serious rules for that. If there's going to be competitive composite bat softball, the teams will require that the pitcher have a safety net, which will have to be paid for by the teams, and that all infield players will wear a face mask. That'd be the third baseman, the shortstop, the second baseman, first baseman, and the pitcher would all have to wear a face mask. This is because the composite bat, when the softball hits off the composite bat, it's typically going to be a home run. But if it's a direct hit, it's at a very high speed. And there's on record some really serious injuries from that. So that's a bit of a point of contention, but is being worked out with the people with the composite league. Tuesday night would be what's called the recreational standard ASA bat league, which would require that the pitcher wear a face mask because of accidents that have happened with with a regular bat, with a softball coming and hitting somebody in the face. This is becoming nationally accepted as standard for this. It just wasn't being seriously followed here. There is a bit of controversy over it, so I would just ask that you would support us in trying to make it safe there. The other thing that came up as a concern is that there will be no alcohol or smoking allowed at the games or on the park grounds during the games. This has been an ongoing back and forth, and we've talked with Chief Berardi and hopefully never having to utilize that, but
Something to do now.
it's been,
We've always
it
tried
was
to
not
do it. It's
allowed,
always
but
been
it
hard
happened.
to handle.
It was not allowed, but it happened.
Yeah. I think our,
To show up and play on the field.
No,
No.
leagues were bringing cases of beer onto the bench and drinking while they were playing.
and on top of that, we would like rent the field on the weekend and they would have like a tournament and it would be a mess down there.
And the other thing he's important, you take, what's that thing with New York State parks? It's if you bring it in, you take it out for garbage.
Take in, take out.
Is that what it's called? Take in, take out? He's gonna, yeah,
There is.
we're gonna hope to force it. And I talked to Frank about maybe, when we were talking about signs, at some point we may have to think about signs for the ball field too. I don't know. We
I
don't want
think
to
it's
overdo
hard
it.
because Orlando's so off the beaten path to even police it.
But someday it's not gonna
Yeah.
be off the beaten path. It's gonna be the gem of a ball field in the Hudson Valley. Be
Major
lit up like
leaguers
a
will wanna
gem,
be
that's
there.
for sure.
The town of Ulster's own Field of Dreams.
There you go. Well, there used to be acorn.
Are
fields
you
down there.
seeking a motion here?
I think
Just
if you'd like.
Put
one,
it
but
out? No.
to support that, but I'm okay with that.
No, I think we give Mr. Jackson some time to develop a written plan to bring it back so that we can have a
Yeah,
full
That'd
discussion
be
on
exactly
a
what
written
we'd like.
document.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our last item on the agenda tonight. It's an update on 338 Glenary Boulevard. Over the last 2 weeks, many emails, phone calls, pictures have been forwarded to my office in reference to activities at the location by the owner in violation of the town's order to stop work, as well as the order of the state Supreme Court for the town to go in to clean up the property and demolish it if necessary. So where are we at the present time? Quick summary. The town received a Supreme Court order back the fourth quarter of last year, authorizing us to undertake the actions necessary to clean the property up, including demolition if necessary. The stop work order was issued by the Town of Ulster Building Department to Mr. Viviani. Activities in the later part of last year were subdued at the property because Mr. Viviani was vacationing at the Ulster County Jail. When he got out, the activities resumed. His harassment of the neighbors, or I should say his interactions with the neighbors, were reinstituted. He purchased materials and was delivering them to the site, which I've heard not only from the residents directly adjacent to the property, but other residents that work in the town that live on Glen Eyrie Boulevard that I run into on a day-to-day basis. We've had a contractor go down there to evaluate the demolition of the project. The costs rendered estimated between $250,000 to $300,000 was based upon the fact that all 9 structures were going to be classified as hazardous material. In an attempt to drive the cost of the project down, reduce the financial risk to the town, we undertook the environmental testing, which will be evaluated in the next week. And I have been told anecdotally that we should see some savings in the demolition costs, which will be allow us to make a decision to move forward. The environmental testing was conducted after Mr. Tutt obtained a search warrant from the Town of Ulster Justice Court. That search warrant was provided to the building department for legal protection so that there would be no arrests of our employees for trespassing, and which, as everyone understands, he is a little high strung. Thank you. And we don't know where he's going at any point in time. So we are in the process of researching the cessation of use. I believe that the 2-year period for the commercial activities conducted by Clements Camp Corporation, which was the prior owner to Ulster County's foreclosure in 2017 and Mr. Viviani's acquisition of the property in 2018, I believe we are going to be successful in proving that the 2-year window that extinguished the grandfather right to conduct the commercial activities of a camp, summer camp cottages on that parcel will be upheld when we file an action with the state Supreme Court declaring that. And that is where we are. Would any of the members of the board like to add to my report? Would you like to add ask me any questions?
What did Warren find out tonight?
Come back and you're one piece. You're not late. We're here and then left. Yeah, we saw.
Well, at this point, the trip was well worth it. I did not catch Mr. Viviani working. Okay, I did go down Glen Eyrie Boulevard. He was at the rear of the properties. Well, I know how to get to the rear of the properties without setting foot on the property, which is to go all the way around, come up North Brigham. I'm south on North Brigham. Well, as I'm coming at the end of south of North Brigham, I ran into a resident who owns the property on the creek directly across from his property. So we had a very interesting conversation. The fact that those camp cottages, okay, prior to Mr. Viviani owning them, were family occupied. So there was no rentals involved. So it's an unfortunate incident. One of the owners, okay, collected money from the other, didn't pay taxes, whatever. Okay, so at that point in time, they were never operated as seasonal rental cabins. So that use, claiming that it ceased within 2 years, never existed. I also talked to the county. I talked to the division that inspects summer camp rentals of 5 or more. They had 0 record there was ever a camp there. So on those two, and I've been authorized to go on their property at any point. So I will be taking a series of pictures. It was a little dark when I got there. So it was kind of hard to see.
Just in case we have to go to court, that we have ourselves well documented, our two folks are on it.
I'm sure. So I can start to create a photo log of the rear of the property. Because that's where most of the activity is taking place. Is the two adjacent, that's the ones he's been actively working. Is the two that are on the creek, that currently don't have a rear to the structure.
So we can get to both. And actually get back to property. I'm just asking.
Talking to somebody today too.
That's the second time it was suggested to me to get in a boat.
I would like to warn the town board that the last time the town board members took a boat trip down the Esopus, it cost the town 2 cameras because they tipped the boat over.
I'll be fine on the other side. Okay. Anything else?
I forwarded you the email tonight on the environmental testing. Can you call Mr. Mim first thing in the morning? Share those with him and find out what course of action he needs to do to proceed on a contract for the demolition.
I will. The reports looked very good in favor of us. So I'll do a thorough review tomorrow and I will call Jim.
The next step is probably having Mr. Mim apply to the New York State Department of Labor for an asbestos permit. Variances, as it's called in the tolerance of the day.
And then they would come in with a lower price than what they had quoted us, and then hopefully we'd be able to approve that then so that they could do the work.
When can we come out?
We're
Once-
probably a month out.
It's gotta get the deeds, gotta get the permit for the asbestos.
Well, I'm gonna talk to Mr. Mim and I'm also gonna talk to the representative from the testing company. Okay, because I want there's 7 different reports and each report is 20 some odd pages long. A lot of it's repetition, but I'm gonna call him up and I'm gonna ask him for his take on what he thinks, because he's the expert. And, if it's not traceable, or it could be even easier than we think, but we're gonna have to do our due diligence. So we'll stay on it. Thank you.
I'd just like to remind community members here tonight that in the 1970s, the town board authorized the cleanup of a farm in Ruby that was a junkyard, and the government did not do its due diligence. They disposed of the cars in a location that resulted in the town being fined by the United States Environmental Protection Agency, $150,000, which I had the privilege and the honor of writing the check for in 2010 when I came into office. I do not want to repeat that mistake. We are going to be accused, I know, of taking our time and dragging our feet here, but I do not want to defend this town in $1 million negligence suit by Mr. Viviani. And given his actions, I'm almost certain that if we do something out of step, his lawyer, who has been in almost daily contact with Mr. Kovacs, will take up that relationship to hourly in front of a judge. That concludes the agenda for tonight. I'm proud to open the floor to any individual who would like to make a comment. Mr. Petremol. Please.
Alan, next door to Viviani. 318 Glenary. I'd like to suggest someone else for the building inspector to ask about the history. He lives about 5 doors down. His name is Frank. Can't remember his last name. He also came every summer there. He's in his 80s now. For 60 years. So he explained to us how it was. It was family, all really from Long Island. They just come up for a few months in the summer and that would be it. But if he has any questions on how it was done financially, he'd be able to answer them.
Mr. Tutt, do you think you can use your neighborhood contacts to track this Frank down?
We were at that auction with Frank when they. sold it.
2018?
Yeah.
Okay,
We were at that auction. We couldn't come up with a. And when he said we didn't try, we tried.
Okay. Thank you. Any additional, Mr. Petremont?
But I'd just like to recognize one of the individuals that's here tonight. Tomorrow, when he walks out the door, he'll be retiring after 37 years of service to the town. I've worked with him pretty much every day since then. He's a great worker. He'd do anything for anybody. And I just want to recognize Jim McGee.
Please stand up.
Thank you, Jim.
I would like to say I have attended many volunteer fire company annual dinners. Mr. McGee was recognized by the East Kingston Fire Company at its annual dinner about 2 weeks ago with an award because of his efforts to maintain the roads during the wintertime in the hamlet of East Kingston, which becomes problematic for a fire truck to navigate if there is a call. I will tell you, there were tears in that room that night when they heard that he was retiring, because he has been such an integral part of that organization in their wintertime service. He did remind me that I didn't say anything at the fire company banquet, so I had to say that tonight to recognize him and to recognize the fact that the volunteer firemen greatly appreciated his service. And this is the appropriate form for that recognition. Thank you, Jimmy. Are there any other members of the public here tonight who would like to approach the podium? Who's hiding back there? Mr. Molinaro.
Good evening, Matt Molinaro, Warren Street in the town of Ulster. I have two things I'd like to say. Both were on the agenda, so I apologize, but I wanted to see which way I had to go with these remarks before I could address them. First, I'd like to say thank you to Councilman Van Cleek, the rest of the town board, and the supervisor for keeping the summer program going, and to thank you all for approving tonight. My two kids, along with several of their friends, absolutely love attending the park, have made several long-lasting friendships and with other campers, but especially with the counselors. We personally know Chucky. My kids love him, and his staff are amazing with them all, making sure that they're occupied all day, hydrated and safe. And most importantly, they do know the rules and regulations and are taught about the river safety and crossing the road for during the day when they're playing, as well as for pickup. So thank you for all of that. I'd also like to speak now, not only as a resident, but as a fireman and EMT in the town of Ulster. Several months ago, I stood in front of you all and spoke alongside several fire chiefs, firefighters, EMTs, and town residents with our ongoing issues and concerns with EMS, and most importantly, the ambulance response and their transport abilities in the town of Ulster. We asked you to listen. We asked for your support, your guidance, and your expertise and knowledge that you bring to this table. You have so far delivered on your word, not only to look into the issue, but you have diligently worked on this, have given updates, and ultimately have given us what we were so desperately in need of, which is the availability and dedicated service of a commercial ambulance to the town of Ulster. While it will continue to be a constant work in progress with the town, Empress, and the volunteer departments, I am confident you will continue to have our backs and do what it takes to make sure that EMS is available in all of the town departments, as well as keeping spending and raising taxes to a minimal. While it's unfortunately normal to hear several complaints and gripes, and I'm pretty good at giving them myself, thank yous are always few and far betweens, and even when they are deserved the most, but I'm also good at giving them. While I can't personally speak for every volunteer fire company and their memberships, although I know and hope they agree with me, I personally want to thank the supervisor, the town board, the town attorney, Empress Ambulance, their management, and your committee for getting this all together and into place. And over the last couple of weeks, an extra thank you to legislator Kovacs for his efforts and pressure to assist us at the county level. And a special thank you to all of the continued hard work and efforts that the volunteer fire departments put in, and to the dedicated efforts from Empress management, and most importantly, their overworked EMTs and paramedics that they have offered. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Molinaro. The report from Empress for the month ending March 31st was delivered via email, April 1st. It was not an April Fool's joke. It goes to show that the structure that was put in place improved dramatically the ambulance response times and missed calls as compared to the previous 2 months. In January, I believe the missed calls were approximately 10%, and they were escalating in February. In the March numbers, there were only 4 requests for mutual aid out of about 300 and some calls. 34 times Empress had equipment other than the 2 ambulances that are permanently stationed in the town respond to calls in the town. And it is too soon to draw a conclusion. But I will say that if this trend continues, when we hit the 90-day mark and we have a complete 90-day quarter to report to the town of Ulster, the residents will be able to recognize the value of their tax investment in this service, and that is going to be important. Sooner or later, someone in this audience, someone in this neighborhood will need an ambulance. And I'm proud to say that through the actions of the town board, that we have put in place a commercial service that has increased the response times. Thank you. Are there any additional comments? I would like a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Before we adjourn, if I could, please.
Go ahead.
So I'm sorry, we all want to go. It's 8:00. We bid on it. I mean, we have a rolling poll going at what time the meeting will end. Just recently, the highway department, the sewer department, and the water department worked together in, I believe, what could be referred to as a Herculean effort to change the filter media at the water plant. John Rose isn't here right now, but Frank maybe knows more, but I believe it was probably one of the most arduous and difficult jobs you all have handled in quite a long time, moving tons of material in 5-gallon pails, up scaffolding, using conveyors, and handing one bucket to the next person, and removing the old media and then putting in the new media. But from what I understand, it was done in, I want to say, who knows what the record is, but it was done in tremendous efficiency, and it was done well, and the system is back up and running. And John was expressing his gratitude to everyone, but I think, you know, as we've heard tonight, we've got some wonderful people that work for the town, and when they're asked to step up, they will pick up 5-gallon buckets of dirt and hand it up ladders and scaffolds and do everything that's necessary so that we can have what we need. Or as you talk with firemen willing to do things, and everybody else, even the man who's kept our roads clean for years, these people are willing to do that. So, but I just want to make sure that we gave a thanks and a shout out. When you turn that water on, it's because it's good, clean waters, because people put a lot of work into it. So.
Are we ready for a motion?
I
to
have
adjourn?
one question before we
Yes.
adjourn. I could email you all, but since you're all here, I would like to know, since our payroll clerk last day is tomorrow and payroll is on Monday, does the board have a plan so that I could just tell my employee at least what the plan is to complete payroll on Monday?
Payroll will be done on time.
Okay.
There's been times when she's been out and it's always been done. So. Good question.
Before we
Motion to
adjourn,
adjourn?
hold on.
Okay.
Wait. I have one more thing.
Who had the pool number tonight?
I don't even know. It wasn't me. I wasn't involved in the pool. But I think we need to circle back at some point at the composite bat situation, because I don't know if I'm 100% on board with it.
Oh, sure. I'd be happy.
Okay.
We have not agreed to it.
I was
so-
gonna say, I just wanna make sure we circle back to it because it's, composite bats are very dangerous.
Oh, to the.
And they're
point-
not even
almost
allowed
like
to
make
use them
it
in
not
high
allowed.
school or college, so.
Almost to the point we like to have it not allowed, but that's why we were limited. No, I, no, there's total agreements. That's why we're putting restrictions on.
Okay. Can I have a vote on the motion to adjourn?
I'm so moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Ms. Quarantino,